Hey guys, my name is Amy. Welcome to my channel and to some Sims 4 building content. Today I am attempting the solid color build challenge, and I was challenged by a friend on Twitter to attempt to basically build a house and furnish it using all one color, which if you're on Twitter or like YouTube a lot, it's a pretty common challenge. I've seen a lot of people attempt this challenge in recent weeks, so I was officially challenged and was excited to start to build. And so, obviously, I'm sure you can see by the thumbnail, I chose the color yellow, which is kind of interesting color choice. And so, just a little bit of backup while you see me like putting all the walls and everything up. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of how I chose the color yellow. So first off, like I don't think I've made any videos for any of the other colors, but I have pretty much done solid color blue, red, and green in the past, and so I definitely knew I didn't want to do those. The friend that had challenged me had just completed an orange house, like solid color, so I definitely didn't want to do that. And then I was thinking either black, white, or gray would be kind of interesting and like would work well, I think. However, I didn't feel like it would be much of a challenge. I think that it would be I still think it would be a challenge. I just think it'd be a little bit easier to do either black, white, or gray. So that pretty much left me with like pink, brown, purple, and yellow. And pink I just felt like was too Barbie girly. I just didn't want to do it. I think brown would be good if you were doing house in like Granite Falls where it would be like a log cabin or something like that. I think that I could probably do a brown house for, and I think that would look quite well. I was building and I kind of wanted to do a modern house, so I felt like either purple or yellow would be a better color. So I pretty much narrowed it down to those colors quite quickly. And I was talking to another sim friend of mine and we were kind of like talking ideas. And so this is kind of interesting because anybody who knows me in real life, I absolutely hate the color yellow for a house. So it's kind of funny that I chose it. But when I was looking through, I guess you can say I kind of cheated because I was looking through the build buy catalog for purple, and there's no official purple toilet, shower, or tub, or refrigerator, or stove. And so, as I'm building the house, I obviously want it to be functional. And I knew that there was probably going to be times where I was going to have to cheat or like kind of make an exception to the solid color rule. And I didn't want to do that with, I wanted to limit myself doing that as much as possible. So when I looked at the build by catalog for yellow, there is technically like a yellow toilet and shower and stove and refrigerator and everything. So when you see me place the stove here in just a second, like technically it's just a little bit of the handles or like the outside that's yellow. But when I was looking through the build bag catalog, I had the filter on, so it would only show you yellow objects. And I'm not gonna lie, if the Sims considered it yellow, I wasn't gonna argue with them. So when I had the filters on, like they technically see this as yellow, and so I just kind of went with that and use those kind of objects that the Sims say it was yellow, then I was just going to go with that. So I felt like yellow was kind of a interesting choice and really wouldn't be my choice of house to like live in. But that's what I kind of went with. And so here's another interesting thing as you see me place this table. Like the most part that you see is like this light brown kind of wood texture, which I think is really nice. But like the underside of it, the legs of the table are actually yellow. But like I said, the Sims considered that being yellow. So when I chose that, I kind of compromised and said, well, technically, I mean, this is yellow, however, not really entirely. So I kind of made some bright yellow chairs around it to kind of make it work, I guess. But like I said, the Sims say it was yellow, so I went with it. I did cheat, or allow myself the exceptions, I guess you can say, for a few items. So there's no functioning yellow mailbox or outdoor trash can. And again, like I want this house to be playable in like function. So I did put those in and they are not yellow. And then technically I did cheat a little bit with the outside landscaping. Some of the, like, I think all of the flowers are yellow, but some of the shrubs and like the greenery are just green, the plants and stuff like that. But that's mostly all on the outside. I believe all of the objects on the inside, all the plants and decorations are all technically yellow. And then outside as well with the terrain painting, I did make a patio kind of in the back, and there was no yellow terrain painting at all. And then there was also no yellow, I did use some grass in the back, just like a small little section. So I did allow myself, I think, those exceptions, and I don't think that it's technically cheating. If you want to call it what you will, I allowed myself to do that. But like I said, all the inside is all technically. Oh, I'm lying. I am totally lying to you. So technically, the stairs are yellow, and then the like what is it called? The railing is yellow, and I couldn't take it. I don't think I put the railing for a while because all of the yellow railings were just god awful hideous, and I just didn't like any of them. So I actually thought about not putting a railing up, but with it just doesn't look right not having a railing. So at some point I'd put the ugly, like really traditional kind of reminds me of like what would be in a Victorian house or something like that. I end up putting a railing up and I absolutely hate it, and it just doesn't go with this modern kind of theme. So at some point I end up just like saying I don't care. I'm just gonna go with what looks cool. And so I couldn't take it anymore. And I think I end up using a black railing, like glass. And I think it would actually maybe even look better in a white color. But I think those are the only true exceptions. And again, like I don't know, it for what I'm working with, choosing the house color yellow, I think I do a pretty good job. And I actually ended up playing in this house for a little bit, which I typically like when I say I play The Sims, I usually just build. So I don't normally play households. It's not really like my thing. When I do play, I do typically like to play in smaller houses with just like one sim. And so I had somehow over the course of, because this it takes me a while to build a house. I don't really have a lot of time. You know, I work full time. I'm a single mom. And so when I was actually playing and building, it took me like 3 weeks, I think, to actually complete the building process. And it's just such a small little house. But I don't have a lot of time to play all the time. So it takes me a long time. So I'm recording this over several weeks. And so at some point, I had decided to actually create a sim that lives here. And I think after I did that, and it's about halfway through this video, so we're getting kind of closer to where I really start to like get more of a personality, because I feel like what I've done so far is just kind of like placing some items, and yeah, they're all yellow and they all kind of go together. However, I don't really feel like I don't know. I'm happy that I at some point had actually made a sim that lived here, and I think it made it easier for me to kind of decorate, which I don't know. I'm just happy that the way it turned out, and I feel like I really gave the house more of a personality. And so the sim that I created to live here, it's kind of funny. Her name is Daffodil Goldenrod, and you do see her in some of the video footage at the end. So obviously her favorite color is yellow, and she like wears all yellow clothing and her accessories and everything like that. So yeah, I think she's quite cute. I don't really spend a lot of time in creative sims, so it probably took me maybe like 3 minutes or 4 minutes to make her. But I feel like once I did that and I kind of had an idea for who would live here, it made it easier for me to go back through and actually like decorate the house. And so I think that's when I start to change all of the wall colors, is kind of when I really had a better decorating sense. Because right now I just feel like everything's just kind of like basic and not really all that exciting. So there's two bathrooms in this house. I would call them technically full bathrooms, even though this one on the lower level here is just a toilet and a shower. There's no tub. And then the one upstairs is a tub but no shower. I still think that they're like, I don't know, maybe three-fourths of a bathroom. I don't know. But two fully functional bathrooms, and it's kind of this shape of this one on the lower level is kind of interesting. I originally had these pieces kind of jutting out and was just going to have it be kind of structural and not really a part of living space on the interior. And I ended up kind of cutting out some of those pieces so I can use it and make a full bathroom down there, or three-fourths of a bathroom, whatever you want to call it. But I enjoyed that a lot better. So here's what I was talking about with the staircase. You could see the original one I had was like a glass kind of a piece, and it looked a lot better, but I was like, oh, it's not yellow. So then I used this horrible like railing, and it just as I do the whole building after that, I get frustrated because I think it looks horrible. And at some point, I don't even think I show you on camera, but I think I just changed it. And maybe I was hoping like nobody would call me out on it, but I'm just gonna be upfront and just say I cheated because I just did. Yeah. So working on the roof, and so a couple things, and I always try to say things that I've never really done before or objects that I've never used before in the game. And so I know this sounds really simple, and like obviously this roofing part or piece has been around forever, but I honestly don't think I've ever actually curved the roof. And I remember when I first saw The Sims 4, and this is going on 4 years now, I thought that was a really cool tool that you can like kind of curve the roof pieces and kind of like intertwine them and like layer them. And I've really liked that idea, and I've never really like done much of that in the past. And so I'm really excited that I actually got to complete that, and I kind of curve the roof a little bit, and I do some detailing on there towards the end. I kind of come back, and I think it looks really cool in the end how you can see a little bit of some curvature to the roof. A couple other things that I've never done before or items that I've never used are the windows and the door that I believe came from the fitness pack. I don't know if that's the right pack like term, whatever the walking rock climbing treadmill thing came from. I think it's the fitness pack. I don't know. I know it's a stuff pack, but I've never used those windows before, and or the door, and I thought that they looked kind of cool, and obviously they were yellow, so and went with more of the modern kind of feeling for this house. So I think that's it as far as like item wise. Oh, one more thing that I end up using by the treadmill on the back. I know this is something I've never used before, and it's small, but it's like that. I don't know what it's called. It's like in the stereo section or the music section, I guess. And it's like one of those old school like gosh, I can't think of the word, but I've never used it before, and it's out on a table by the treadmill. I was excited to get to use that, and again, it's yellow, so there wasn't a lot of yellow electronics, so there's no TV in this house. However, there was a yellow computer, so I do, and it's like that Ghost Rider one that's $10,000. So there is plenty of fun for your sim to have, because like I said, there's no TV. There is a treadmill out back. So the sim that lives here, Daffodil, her traits are like athletic, and she's a foodie and like a vegetarian. So she's pretty much a health nut, and she has like a really high cooking skill and athletic skill. And so yeah, one thing that's kind of funny when I look at the tile and the stuff that I'm using for outside, I was almost gonna cheat and just say, I'm just gonna use like some light brick or something, because there's like linoleum in the front and it looks horrible. And then I use this tile in the back on the back porch. And I mean, again, given what I'm working with, the color yellow, I actually don't think it looks all that bad. Like, it's not obviously my first choice, but I'm going with what I have to work with. And so, like, but I think it actually kind of looks good in the end. I mean, again, I don't really have much of a choice, but the colors that I use, I mean, I obviously you wouldn't have typically linoleum outside on your front like patio, but there wasn't really a whole lot of options for yellow. So with what I had to work with, I don't think it looks all that bad. So I kind of jump around a lot now towards the end because I'm kind of going through and just putting some finishing details and working on, I think, some landscaping right now. But what you had seen me do pretty much in the bedroom upstairs, I go back and I change a lot of that, the bed and like the table and everything like that. And actually, a patio or balcony just outside the bedroom upstairs, and it has a door that goes obviously outside towards the balcony, and the door is kind of like just above the front door that you're seeing now, and I ended up changing the door and the window at some point because it just looked and the interior of the bedroom, the floor plan kind of made more sense. So I kind of changed that around, which allowed me to change the bed and everything upstairs around a lot. So I went ahead and did that. And I think that that really makes the bedroom area so much better. I'm glad that I went back and kind of revisited that because I wasn't happy with it, but I couldn't figure out what I didn't like about it. So we are currently off in the backyard, and it's kind of small back here. I obviously could have made this area a little bit bigger, but this is another thing that I don't typically do. This is the smallest lot available in The Sims. I think it's 20 by 15. So, anyone who follows me a lot, I typically build big houses on big lots. So this was quite a challenge for me. I mean, this house took up most of the lot itself. Yeah, there's like a small little like patio area, and then I do put a little bit of grass on part of it. So obviously, I feel like it would probably be astroturf. It probably wouldn't be real grass, or if it is real grass, like there's not really a lot of watering that would have to be done because it's just a small little area. But I think it looks nice, and like I said, I'm kind of cheated with some of the bushes, but it's not like overkill. There's not like a lot of landscaping, so I feel like what I did is still technically within the rules. And I believe the official rules say that you have to have 60% of the object has to be yellow. But like I said, I mean, if the Sims are considering it yellow, then I'm just going to go with it. So here I am back up at the roof, and this is kind of like you'll see me playing around more with the curved sections, and I end up painting this color um, like on the top, this layered section, a deeper, or I guess it's like a golden yellow, which is different than the majority of the house of the actual like lighter yellow color. So here's another like side story I'm going to try to tell you really quick. I was just hanging out with one of my good friends, and we've been friends for a really long time, and she told me a funny story. I don't know how we started talking about yellow houses, and I mentioned to her, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm building a yellow house in The Sims." And she told me a story that I remember years ago when I bought my first house in real life, and I was peeking out the window, and it was like a new construction subdivision. And so I was looking out the window at my neighbors, my future neighbors across the street. They were building this house, and it was a huge house on the corner. And I remember, like, I didn't remember this at the time, but she told me that I was looking out the window and I was like, I can just tell that house is going to be yellow. I just knew it. And I called it out, and sure enough, that house was like this light, ugly color. And I was like mad that I was going to have to look at it forever. But um, so it's like the lighter yellow houses aren't like as bad, I guess, in real life. I don't know. I just don't know why anyone would want to live in a yellow house or like buy a yellow house. I mean, I guess if you buy a yellow house, that's one thing, but why would you choose to have your house color yellow? That's what I think is kind of interesting. Like, I don't know. It's just maybe not for me. Like, I would never, like, if I had to get my house siding redone now, I have a blue house, I wouldn't choose to change it to yellow. Um, I just don't like the color yellow house. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to know how many times I actually say the word yellow in this video. Um, or like, because I tend to say that a lot in my voiceovers. But yeah, we are getting fairly close towards the end of the video. Another thing that I did a little differently just in this video style when I did the editing is I added some music toward the end when I do the walkthrough. So I've done like video walkovers before, but really have never had any music. So I hope that you enjoy that as you go through and look at the walkthrough, I guess, and you can see Daffodil Goldenrod doing a couple things throughout her house. So hope you look forward to that. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video and this challenge. If you've done this challenge, I would be interesting to know what colors everyone has chosen. I think yellow was kind of a hard one, but I'm glad that I did it. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section what you think about it. And I will see you guys all back next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.